Hi everyone, I'm Fabien, I'm the founder of Odoo, and today I'm going to host a Ask Me Anything session for Odoo Insider. It's been a year since we do this format, so hope you will enjoy it. You can ask me questions about pretty much anything. Could be about the software, the company, the strategy, the business model, whatever you want. Here to try to do my best to answer your questions. And let's start with a question from Michel on Twitch. He's curious to know what are Odoo's plans for integrating software with Google in the future. You may have you may have heard that we got some investment from Capital G in Odoo, which is the fund of Google. It's basically a financial operation for them. They invest in Odoo because they think the company is growing like crazy. In terms of collaboration, we already had collaborations with Google in the past, and we continue to do so, mostly for Google Cloud hosting, Google Ads to promote Odoo. And we have apps that are fully integrated with Odoo since a few years now, like Google Calendar, Google Meet, Google Workspace, integration with a spreadsheet. These are not new. It's apps we have already in Odoo, and we continue to provide that. We have no plans to add other services than the ones we already have. All right, so now I have a question from Svenitos. As a third-party Odoo hosting provider, is there a straightforward way to retrieve enterprise module using the client's enterprise key so that the client doesn't have to download it? So if you purchase Odoo Enterprise, obviously you can download it from odoo.com/download. I think it's that, the URL. But you can also, from the portal, as you purchase Odoo Enterprise, your partner portal, if you are a partner, you can request access to GitHub so that you can download from GitHub. If you don't have access because you are not a partner, you can also ask the account manager to whom you purchased the Odoo Enterprise code, and they will be able to add your GitHub account to the Enterprise repository. Why is there no in-app purchase status page? I believe it's part of, when we have a lot of things to do, we have priorities, and we had to develop the priorities. So it's coming, it will come, but it was not a priority up to now, so there is no status page. Obviously, also we don't have a lot of issues, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so I have a new question here. Is Odoo planning to open another branch in Latin America, for example? The way we proceed with opening new branches is, for us, the complexity is not so much about deciding in which country to go, but more about finding the right director. So we work in an opportunistic way. We only open a new branch in a new country if we get the right person to do it. I think it's more efficient to have the right director rather than having the right location. So first we find the person. Once we have that, then we open a country. We have opened Mexico and Brazil in Latin America. In the future, we will probably open others, but it's not in our direct plan, except if we find a great employees in your teams that wants to do so. Are there plans to improve the repair module, mostly for service business who need to handle several serial numbers at once? Yes, we have big refactoring plans on the repair module for Odoo 19. It's coming in. But it's too early for me to explain all the details about that. How will AI transform the core value proposition of ERP? And what new business model will emerge as a result? So AI is a complex topic because it's at the same time extremely powerful. It opens new possibilities. And it's also completely overvalued. There are a lot of people who see AI as a solution to a problem, but they don't have the problem. The way we see AI is that first we identify a problem, as usual. Where are users spending time, wasting time? How can we help our user be more productive? And then we decide on the best approach to help and improve the software. And for that, we have a lot of different algorithms. AI is one of them. So sometimes we use AI, sometimes not. So I see that's more our open new technical capabilities rather than transforming everything. We have had already a lot of success in accounting. Like you don't have to record account invoice anymore. We have a 98% recognition of our vendor bills automatically. But then we also we have success with RAG. Like you can ask Odoo help. So you have a new menu here, Odoo help, where you can ask anything, and AI will compute it for you. So these are game-changing, but it's more like, it's not game-changing in a way that it's just more slight improvements here and there rather than transforming the whole ERP. I do believe that for a lot of use cases, UX, for instance, is still more powerful than AI. Having a simple software that can handle everything you need is the very strong value proposition. And AI is a way to get to that, but will not transform everything. It will help a few functions. The Odoo Support AI is great, but any other AI announcement in the pipeline? So yes, we have a lot of tasks in AI. I don't know if I can show you here. Do I have an AI? Yes. So we have natural language search. So you can explain a search or a report. Get me the top 10 clients in Colombia, and AI will compute the report and the search for you. We have live chat widgets, the same thing that you have seen on Odoo.com. That will be standard in Odoo soon. We are developing agents. So agents will have the capabilities of LLM to discuss with anybody through any channel, WhatsApp, SMS, email, or live chat. And interact with Odoo methods, like schedule a meeting, find a support ticket, change an order. So these are going to be agents. We have AI fields coming in, where you can create new types of fields, like properties or studio, except that the definition of the field will be written in English or any other language, like tell me how many developers this company is recruiting within the next 6 months. And then you let AI do the job, and the search on internet, process the information, and filling the field. And so the fields will be auto-completed with valuable information for the end users based on AI. We are improving AI everywhere, like in the composer, HTML field, emails, and so on, so that you have summaries of discussions, better templates of email, interaction with AI when you have a question everywhere. Improving server action too, so you can describe the actions you want to do. When a lead is closed, send an email to someone with this. And all of this is going to be computed in AI. What's amazing with Odoo is that what is extremely complex for different software vendors like Salesforce or SAP, they have to integrate AI in every application. All of their teams have to work on AI. For us, because of the way Odoo, the modularity of Odoo and the way we are organized, these AI capabilities will work directly on all business apps of Odoo, and they will be fully integrated with each other. So it's going to be extremely powerful, and you can expect that to be released progressively, but amongst the new release, like 18.3, 18.4, so in a few months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Will Odoo comply with the RGAA criteria for the update 19, particularly in relation to the requirements for large enterprises in France? I don't know what is RG2E. So RG2E, let me check. Compliance France. I'm not sure, I have to check. So usually our approach to compliance is to do the ones that are mandatory. So we have done the ones that are necessary, like for accounting, or scales in the point of sales or point of sale hardware. But if it is optional, then we try to avoid them because it creates a lot of complexity in our company, and the success of Odoo has always been to keep things simple and move forward fast. And usually compliance doesn't go along with that. From a partner perspective, what is the plan to tackle a potential float system in tiers? It's well known that it's geared towards sellings. For partners that are recovering account, how do we look to award these partners since customer is being retained and the partners get recognition for the license? So I believe the question is, do we need a special rewarding mechanism for partners who are saving projects? Or I would say stealing clients from others. It depends on the way you see it. Today we have no special thing. I think it's as good as helping a client rather than getting a new client. We value both the same way. So we have no plan to change our KPIs on the partnership level on that regard. When a sync between Google Outlook Contact and Odoo Contact. So you already have the Outlook plugin and the Google Gmail plugin. So Google Maps, Address, Google Load, Google Calendar. So you already have all these integration in place. We don't want to synchronize all your contacts automatically with Odoo because usually people prefer to synchronize contact by contact. I mean, if you're a large company, you won't share your whole address book with the company. It's mostly based on a lead by lead. So you should use the Google, the Gmail plugin or the Outlook plugin for that. Does Odoo have plan to add transaction history in inventory showing the on-hand amount before and after each transaction in the inventory history? No, we don't have plans that. So first, there is no one on-hand. Every location has its own on-hand, so it's not that easy. And the key for us in inventory is to have something that are extremely fast and efficient. And so adding more columns for the sake of reporting is not that much of an interest, especially because these data are easily recoverable. Odoo gives you an inventory at date, so you can get the exact inventory of any location at a specific date. You have the traceability of every move also, so you can get back to this amount quite easily. Odoo has announced that it wanted to become PDP in France for the electronic invoicing reform. So yes, we are moving forward to become PDP for the electronic invoice. You know, it's still everything's still draft. So on that regard, we have already collaboration with PDP provider, and we have started our process of becoming a PDP. So we are working on both in parallel, so to be sure that we are ready on time. For if I remember well, it's September 2026, but we're gonna be ready before. For all the European customers, we also already integrate with Peppol since a few months or nearly a year. That can be used for all electronic invoicing in Europe. So you can already send your invoices on the Peppol network, and every country supports that. Even though in France they will have their own PDP, they still has to comply with Peppol too. Is there a chance that older Odoo version will become obsolete in the future? I believe you are asking if the opposite, if we will extend the life of existing versions. Yes, we'll do it. So we used to support 3 years. We now will extend to 5 years with an extra on the price, so that we do the support and upgrade for 5 years. But one thing to keep in mind is that even though we say support for 5 years, you can still run Odoo for longer than that. It's just that if you have a support issue, it's on you. We don't cover it for free in our support. But we still cover the upgrade. So you can come today with a very old Odoo version like Odoo 8, 10 years ago, and we will still upgrade it at no extra cost. So Odoo provides one free app for everyone and charge for other apps. Do you think it could make sense to adjust the business model to provide more than one free for very small businesses? Yes and no. So it's important to keep our pricing simple. And already today, people have a lot of questions about the pricing. Yet it's one of the simplest one we could come with. So one app is, as you said, is free, and multiple apps you have for 20 euro, depending on your country, all the apps for a single price per user and per month. I think it's a great value for the proposition. I think that even for very small companies, it's nothing. I mean, 20 euro per user per month, even if you have 2 euro, 40 euro, it's basically nothing to get all the apps of Odoo. So, and unlimited support and upgrade and nothing, it's an unbelievably good offer. Nobody get close to that. For the one app, we don't have plan to extend because we feel like going to 20 is not a big deal. But we did a few exceptions, like for accounting. We want accounting firms to use Odoo for free. So basically they use the accounting offer for free, where they have everything, bank connections, accounting software, OCR to process invoices automatically and everything. But the one thing was missing is the document app, because usually accounting firms need to retrieve and store and process a lot of documents from their clients to convert them into bills and statements and so on. So if you start a one app free with accounting, we offer the document app for free. So we do some exception from time to time, but our goal is not to extend the one app free. You know, one of the challenges to keep the 20 euro per user per month. It's extremely low. And to keep this amount to this price, we have to operate at a very high level of efficiency at Odoo to keep getting profitable. And so for me, the key is, despite the fact that there is a lot of inflation, everybody has increased their price a lot over the past 2 years, at least 10 to 15% minimum for pretty much every software vendors. We kept the price the same. And our goal is to keep the price the same, which is, in fact, a cost reduction because we don't apply the inflation to our price. So for me, the challenge is not so much to extend the €0 app free, but more to ensure that we'll keep a very low standard offer for the long term, even lower than today if you take into account the inflation. If you can put me the name of the people who ask questions. So someone from Portugal. My question is related to accounting certification. When will Odoo be recognized and certified in Portugal so that we can carry out end-to-end implementation? So basically we are working on Portugal. We do the localization. About certification, I cannot tell you. I have to check with my team what's the status of Portugal. But usually our approach is the following. If the certification is not mandatory to operate, we won't do it. If it is, we will do it. But I'm pretty sure if it was, we would already have done it. So to be checked. Does Odoo have any plans to incorporate historical sales data forecasting? So we already have reporting on the past, on the sales. Now we are working on it's a new task that I really love, difficult to explain without showing it to you because it's not ready yet, but let me try. I think it's in purchase. Purchase, procurement, purchase. These are, we use, this is the tool we use for all our specification when we create new tasks. Yes, inventory and purchase, mass return. And as you may know, we have a lot of tasks in parallel. It could be this one. So this is how a specification look like in R&D. No, it's not this. No, it's not this. That's to improve procurement. So I can explain you in Odoo what we are working on. Okay, so we have different ways to automate procurement at Odoo. Based, you can use the MPS, Master Production Schedule, where you can define your sales forecast, and then Odoo will compute the net needs based on the sales and the current inventory and the future procurements. We do have the replenishment rules, where it's more minimum, maximum, and Odoo makes proposition. You change your min-max, and then you can order manually or automate so that Odoo will propose purchases automatically. These are the main methods to automate procurements currently in Odoo. And both of these methods take into account your sales forecast. For this one, it's the confirmed sales. For the MPS, is the estimated sales. We are adding a new one, which I really like, for a simpler need, is to say, okay, small companies having to work with replenishment rules is already a bit too complex. I mean, you have to create rules for every product. Even though it's very powerful, it's automated, it's still a configuration, it's still a little bit complex. So now we are working on a way to create your procurement. So let's say you buy a lot of product to a specific vendor. So you pick the vendor. Let's say this one. And then from the catalog view, you have all the products of this vendor. And you can go by categories and things like that. Here, on top of that, we'll add a cursor. Let me draw it. Where you can decide how many days of sales you want to procure. And so you can decide, okay, I want to buy for 10 days of sales or 20 days of sales. So if you are in December because it's Christmas and New Year, you probably will stock even a bit more to prepare for the gifts. Then you will put a bit more days. And so you say, I want to buy for 20 days worth of sales. And then the system will compute automatically based on your inventory, based on the current sales already forecasted, it will compute the right quantities for each product. So you can play with this, and it will automate the procurement for this vendor. So it's a great way, much easier than procurement and replenishment rules and MPS. For small companies who have a few vendors where they buy a lot of products, just come in your purchase order every Monday, set your cursor based on the season, based on your weather, based on your months, and then the system will propose product automatically. And then when you go back to the procurement, everything's ready. All you have to do is to send it to your vendor by email. All right, I have a question from Odimaz. Odoo has been growing rapidly, and many new hires are coming from companies like Microsoft and SAP. Not that much, actually. I would like to have more. How do you plan to maintain Odoo's unique culture and keep it solution-driven rather than becoming bogged down corporate policies? That's a very good question. So if you're interested, we have a book about the company culture of Odoo. It's called the Survival Guide. Odoo Survival. You should find it on Google. Let's see, yes. And it explains our company culture. So how do we keep the company culture? First, let me get the PDF. First, we communicate efficiently. So this book is given to every employee of Odoo. Oh shit, it wants me to sign up. Let me check. Survival Guide. Okay. So this book is given to every company every employee of Odoo, and we explain what we expect from them. Because employees come with their habits of their past jobs, so we have to explain the way Odoo operates, what we explain from employees, and what they can expect from us, team leaders. So it helps shaping the culture. We also communicate a lot. And some of the things we explain in this book is, for instance, we never ever recruit directors. The only way to become a team leader at Odoo is to become the best of a team. So by design, because we do that, every team leader is perfectly aligned with the culture, because it's the only way to grow is to become better. What we expect from a team leader, I have a presentation about that, give me a minute. I think it was G something. All right. So let me check. Attract users. Okay. Here's what we expect from a team leader is to be a leader of a team rather than managing it. So leader is someone who do by example, hands-on. So we train our team leader to avoid lots of management practice like planning, budgets. We have no control process on expense on time off at Odoo. We have no KPIs on team, with a few exceptions like salespeople who have a commission. They don't have reporting to do to upper levels. We forbid recurring meetings. They can do meetings, but not recurring meeting, because it means that's a manager that managed by meeting. We don't spend time controlling and things like that. We expect only one thing from a team leader. We give them a team of person. They have to make them become better. So if it's a team of developers, make them become better developer. If it's a team of salespeople, make them become better sales. And because of that, all our directors who are shaping the culture, the process of Odoo, are perfectly aligned with the culture and are focused on things that matter, like improving the product, delivering to the client, rather than the corporate usual bullshit. We are also very good at, I like this graph, something I usually explain to our team leader is, a lot of people think micromanagement is bad. I actually think the opposite. Micro review is much better than macro management. So I train my team leaders to not be afraid to micromanage, but to be afraid of not being helpful to the team. And the only way to be helpful to a team is to work with them, lead by example. For instance, if you are a team leader or director, you have a set of projects and people, that's the x-axis, and then on the y-axis, the time you spend on each project and each person. So the implication you have. And you have two types of profile. You have the classic manager, I would say. They supervise everything. They are aware of every task. They do meetings with the team so that the team explain on what they are working on. So they supervise, but they don't have time to go into details of everything. But they know everything. They know every project, every person, but they don't spend that much time on each person or project. That's the orange graph. The purple graph is the leader. That's what we expect to do from a team leader, and that's what we do. We tell our team leader, it's okay if you let your team be autonomous and there are a lot of projects and people you just don't care about, you let them do. And we expect you to do that. Don't try to be aware of everything. But when there is an issue, when there is a bottleneck, it's your job as a team leader to make the person evolve or fix the bottleneck in the project. So when that happens, you have to go hands-on and really work on it. Could be developments or... shit. I think I have no battery. Il marche pas votre truc. Just have to fix my laptop.
L'onglet déconnecté.
Ouais. All right. Just plugging in my battery. The live is still on? Yeah. 1 minute, I have to boot. No. All right. Good. I'm back. So we have team leaders who have this profile to do. So a leader of a technical team is still develops. He is still the best of the team so that he can focus on development, code reviews, quality, and make the team become better, rather than having pure managers who supervise, create plannings and budget and so on. And because of that, we keep a very strong company culture that is focused on helping customers developing a better product, rather than having a lot of directors who have their pet projects, want to create new departments, new products for politics issues. We really don't have that kind of things to do. And I do believe we can keep doing that. We have 5,500 employees right now, and we still have a very extremely good company culture, focused on things that matters and not politics. So I do believe we can continue growing at our pace and keeping the same culture. But for that to happen, there is something very important, is to keep things simple, no planning, no budget, no meeting, no validation, precision process, trust your people, train them, work with them so that because I do believe that the process is more important. The culture is way more important than the process. And if you have a strong culture, you don't need validation process. I also think that companies are like software. If we simplify everything, we can do anything. I like this quote because it comes from the CEO of SAP, and they don't do it. So for me, it's kind of funny. But we apply it at Odoo. And so part of our culture also is to ensure we keep getting simple and we don't create complexity, and we refactor the company from time to time. So like our software, we refactor a lot to improve its speeds, make it easier, and so on. We do the same for the company. We often reduce unnecessary rules, stop useless report, cancel unproductive meetings, stop complex process, pull out your newest feature. So it's part of our gene to operate that way, and I believe because of that we can keep our efficiency for a long time. All right, I hope it answered the question. It was a longer one. Fabien, is it possible to have detailed documentation for partner? The standard documentation is very generic. So first, the standard documentation is like thousands of pages and videos, so it's difficult to do more than that. And obviously, Odoo is a complex product, so you will always have very specific questions that are not perfectly handled by the documentation, but it's that. We have no specific documentation for partners because our mindset is to be open and open source. So pretty much every content we'll produce is shared for the community, not only for the partners. We have a few things for partner, but it's more a service rather than a documentation. It's what we call the PLO. It's a service partner learning objective, I think. It's a service where we train a partner for a few weeks with a consultant that help you with the ramp up with specific questions and support. And so if you're interested, you can contact your account manager. But in terms of documentation, I try to centralize everything on two things, or documentation or YouTube videos for the tutorials. And we don't have others extra. It's already close to 100 people to maintain that. It's already a huge effort to do that. And I think creating more documentation will create even more noise and won't be helpful. Hello Fabien, as an integration, I think the report customization to the Studio app has become a real tough subject. Do you plan on simplifying this process? Yes, we do. Having said that, I do believe that every report designer engine has its limitations. There are some limits to that, and for me, it's okay to, at some points, try to not do everything in the drag and drop report builder, but go to the HTML or CSS and fine-tune it in HTML essences. There is no good report engine where you can have a very strong HTML, CSS editor. So I keep getting the mix of, we try to push the boundaries of the drag and drop builder for the reports. I'm supposing you are talking about PDF reports, so sheet, and not graphs analysis. But there will always be features to, if you want to do something very specific, then you jump to HTML and CSS and design it. And because it's a very standard technology, a lot of people can do it. Why did you remove the eBay integration in version 18? We had too few customers. I don't remember the name, but it was less than 0.01% of our customers. And because everything changed at eBay, because it was a huge technical debt, it was easier for us to just remove it and move it as a community module so that people can still use it on the side on the Odoo.sh, rather than maintaining and keep the complexity. It's part of keeping things simple. Sometimes, it's very rare, we try to avoid, but sometimes you have to do hard decisions like this. Where do you see the company in the next 5 years? That's a very difficult question for us, where we have difficulties to budget more than 1 year in advance. But let's try. If you have a look at the IT landscape, it started 25 years ago with the operating system. So we used to have a lot of operating systems for the older people in the chat, like Unix, Minix, MS-DOS, Dr.DOS, Windows. Fast forward today, we only have Microsoft, Windows, iOS, and Linux. These are the three remaining ones. So we had a very strong consolidation effect. The operating system were complex because of the technical complexity, design, something that works with all the hardware and so on. And then came, in addition to the technical complexity, the user interface complexity. And that's when came the Office tools. 20 years ago, we had Works, WordPerfect, Lotus 123. Fast forward today, there is only 2 players, Microsoft Office and Google Workspace. I do believe that as ERPs or fully integrated management software becomes more mature, the same will happen. If we fast forward in 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, I don't know. But what's sure is that because it's going to be so much mature, the products are going to be extremely affordable, like a commodity. Only 1, 2, or 3 players will remain and will share the whole market. So my goal for the future is just that, survive for the next 5 to 10 years, to be amongst the 1, 2, or 3 that have the large part of the market. And I'm pretty sure we'll make it. I don't know who will be the other players, because I don't see one already. I think it's going to be new entrants. But Odoo is in a very good position to commoditize this market. Question from Yente. Is there anything on the planning to have smarter min-max stock rules which look at periodic peaks? I think what I explained before is a bit of that. A tool on purchase orders that recommend, based on the catalog and the sales prediction and the window security you want to have, that will recommend the quantities to buy automatically. I think it's a great task. I couldn't find the mock-up. Let's try. Batch reordering rules optional. Let me check if I find the specification quickly. One-time purchase. Purchase catalog. I might try this one. No. Can find the specification, but it's going to be a tool where you don't need replenishment rule and order directly from a purchase order using the catalog with some prediction based on your sales activities, current stock, and it will recommend the quantities automatically. Okay, I have a question from Fernanda. I'd like to know if Odoo is planning to integrate Odoo technologies with Microsoft service like Power BI without using external applications. No, we don't plan to do that, mostly because we believe using Odoo BI is more powerful. With your own dashboard mechanism, you actually have all the features of Power BI, but fully integrated, so you can easily navigate. So this is based on Odoo spreadsheet, actually, so I can open any one of these dashboards. Let's say open here. And it's a spreadsheet, so it's easy to add some data, sums. So if I want to add a sum, just do sum here, like this. And I can save that. Yes. Save that, go back to sales, go back to my dashboards, and it's updated. I don't know which one I saw last change. One of those, I don't remember. So it's very easy to design. It's fully integrated in a way that you can navigate, just click on this salesperson. From this salesperson, I want to check this product. And I have the top sales order, and then I can drill down to it. Write a note, boom, go back to my dashboard, filter on a customer, and everything updates automatically. So that's extremely powerful. So there is no incentive for us at trying to integrate with Power BI because you will have something less efficient, extremely complex, and at an extra cost because this is free as part of Odoo. So usually what my recommendation is just have a look at the existing Odoo tools. They are probably much better than what you think. Because these spreadsheets, BIs, and so on improved a lot in Odoo recently. Question from William. Without giving too much away, what can we expect for the coming Odoo 18 roadmap? Good question too. We are working a lot on improving what's already existing. For instance, in accounting, as usual, localizations are priority. But then we have plenty of tasks to simplify our accounting. Let me show you a few. One of them is the bank matching. It's extremely powerful in Odoo, this tool. It has a lot of features where you can do matching, create manually, discuss on tasks, but it's very complex. When you look at the screen, it's not easy to grasp everything. So we are simplifying, keeping all the features, but in a more easier way. Let me try to show you if I can get that. Accounting. Bang, bang, bang. How we do too many tasks, it's hard to... I should go to Odoo instead to check in my pipeline. Bank. Bank matching. Reconciliation. Yeah, I have to check. I can find the task easily. But that's one of them. Another one of them is to improve in accounting, for instance, to speed up the process of selecting an account. A lot of entrepreneurs, they don't know which account to choose. If you have plenty of accounts, it's not easy. So we are improving the chart of accounts. We provide multiple charts of accounts per country because pure accounting firms, they have usually more advanced needs than a simple entrepreneur. So we'll provide both chart of accounts and a better way to select account so that you can easily navigate and find the type of costs you want to impact. So it's mostly about improving what we already have. The applications that will have the most improvement will be website, e-commerce, accounting, POS, especially for restaurant. We've done a lot of improvements. A lot of improvement for restaurant, by the way, are already there. If you have tested the recent master branch on Runbot. Like dark mode, you can switch to dark mode. Preset, you can say eat in, take out, delivery, and when I choose delivery, I can put an address. Improvement in the menus, when you can have multiple quantities on the menu. Improvement in the Gantt chart, when you book a table, now you have folded. So if my restaurant is only open from 12 to 14 and 19 to 21, you see my Gantt chart is folded, so it's much easier to book a meeting like this. Restaurant for book a table for Fabien, like this. And then say, okay, it's checked in. So plenty of improvement here and there. There is no big new apps except artificial intelligence. We have plenty of things coming in that area. The rest is improving the existing applications. Okay, question from Christian. Why do we have some change in accounting in the new version that are not explained in the release notes? So we do our best to have accurate release notes and documentations. I believe 99% of the main tasks, not the small ones, are reported in the release notes, but sometimes we miss one. It could be because sometimes we have last-minute changes or someone forget to report it somewhere, but we have maybe 1% of the feature that we forget to report in the release note. It's okay, there is no way we can do better. We are humans, we do mistakes, we have to live with it. Question about the Odoo dashboard. Obviously, it's gonna improve. How big is your team working on AI? Question from Jérôme. The funny thing is that we don't need a lot of people. I think we have 8 people, and they will do every single task I explained before and we designed in probably 3 to 4 months. Because it's not rocket science. For a lot of things like LLMs, all you have to do is to integrate with others. We will support Gemini, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and so on. And for the other ones like agents, support, help desk, and so on, because Odoo is already extremely simple, and because everything is already centralized, we could develop everything in a small effort. But obviously, we'll put the means. So if we need more developers, we'll assign more. But for now, every task we had in mind in AI will be done in 2 or 3 months. So we don't need to put more developers. I'm forgetting because we have other AI team, like one specialized for accounting. So we have a few extra developers actually. Could we see a different plan for SMBs and enterprise business in the future in terms of pricing? I don't think so. I think there is a very strong value in having a very simple price. And we have 3 columns in our pricing. I don't want to have much more. So for now, we are happy with what we have. Can't say if we will change in the future, but I don't think we should complexify our pricing. One question about Abdul is that the documentation is sometimes lacking, and we have to rely on the forum or the website, even ChatGPT to complete the configuration. Are there any plans to address that issue? We have, I don't know, I'll tell you how many people we have working on content, and especially the documentation, marketing, content. We have 14 on content, plus education, they create content too, plus some, that's only Odoo.sh. We have 40 people working on the documentation right now. And some in the other teams are working in that too. Like media, they create the videos. Translation, they translate documentation. So we have for now 75 people writing documentation. So I think it's good. The thing is that the software is evolving so fast that sometimes the documentation is updated a few months after. We try to avoid that, but it happens. One thing we did to improve that is not so much, because one of the issues of Odoo is not so much about do we have the documentation or not, because between our forums or videos or documentation, the information is usually there. The problem is that there is too much information, and too much information kills the information. So in order to help you doing that, we have introduced artificial intelligence dedicated to Odoo on a website. So you go to the website, you go on the help button on the top, and you can ask any question here, like how can I change the reference number of an invoice with a different sequence? And then you will have the power of AI and the power of the Odoo documentation together. So it's explaining how to mass resequence or sequence one invoice. And then you have the link to the documentation here. So you can check in the documentation invoice sequence, and it's explaining you how to do. So both works really well together. And it's one of the things we did to improve the documentation is more improve the access of finding the documentation rather than creating even more documentation. I mean, what we have is already so big. What's the best solution to scale Odoo horizontally? Is it important to use Page Bouncer and Redis? I want to achieve this using open source solution without AWS. So first, Odoo.sh. Odoo.sh you can scale like crazy with that. And you have it's like a dedicated server. You can have a dedicated server where you have your own SSH access to the server. You can do everything, and there you can scale to any number of worker, up to 256 on one machine. If needed, we can do more. I've never seen a client that can do more. We have had a presentation at the last Odoo Experience from our CTO Anthony Le Suisse, who showed that with this setup, 256 worker on Odoo.sh, we can handle the volume of Amazon. So I do believe you don't have a use case that is bigger than that. So with Odoo.sh, all you have to do is scale the number of workers accordingly. It's quite easy. To find the right number of workers, usually 25 backend users and 5,000 front-end visitors per day for one worker. So 25 to 256. 256 times 25. It's already 6,400 concurrent users. It could be a bigger company than that, obviously. Plus all the front end, plus. So with that, you are comfortable, and it's a secure limit. You can probably do much more than this. On a more technical approach, if you want to do it yourself, first it's complex. And if you don't want to use Odoo.sh and host yourself or whatever, you should know that first, you don't need to scale horizontally. It's a mistake. I mean, 99.9% of the businesses, they fit on just one server and one PostgreSQL database. So before making it too complex, just do the simpler way. One large server, and it's enough. Odoo is pretty efficient in terms of resources. You don't need to do load balancing and everything. I don't believe in PG Bouncer. I think it's more, I prefer Odoo as a way to dispatch the request based on the read-only queries and the read-write themselves. But we have never seen a use case where we needed it. So technically, the way it works is that you have the Odoo server that runs in Python. And usually we put the database on a different server. It could be on the same database. Okay. With that setup, you can already run thousands of users on two machines, one database, one server. If you need bigger, more needs, you can replicate the Odoo server. Just launch multiple ones. Put a load balancer in between. So load balancer here that will dispatch the queries. And you can run as much, but at the application level, something like Nginx or what do we use? I forget. That will dispatch between the different applications. And this setup, you can already go very far, and then they can use the same database. Usually on very large accounts, we have 50% usage on between Odoo server and Odoo in the database. And if you are bigger than that, close to bigger than Amazon, we can also Odoo as a new tool that allows to have database in read-only mode. So you use PostgreSQL replication. You don't need Page Bouncer. Odoo server will do it for you. And Odoo server will use the read-only database for read-only transaction. You know that 90% of the transaction of the application to the database are read-only. So for some controllers, we can just route to a database read-only, and then we do PostgreSQL replication here with one main that does read-write master, and then replicate it to a read-only database one. This setup, we often do it, not because we need it in terms of load balancing, because usually one server is enough, but for replication to ensure that if one server crash, if this one crash, we can reroute all the other ones to this one without disturbing the operation. For a good SLA, that's what we do for all Odoo Online and Odoo.sh instance. So Odoo manages all of this for you already. All right. One of the problems we face for Odoo blog is it doesn't have clean URL like WordPress. That's not true. Let me show you something. I challenge you to find a website builder that has a better SEO than Odoo. Testing. And obviously SEO is very subjective. A lot of people will tell you different advice in different ways, but technically we handle everything perfectly without having to install plenty of community plugin like you have to do with WordPress. Let's do a business website with, I don't know, IT consulting, I don't know. Shoe business, clothing store, okay. To get lead, boom, boom. Let's create a website quickly. Is there one that we like? Okay, let's go with this one. So it takes a few seconds because and now I have a website. I can edit, change, add some image. You know the website builder of Odoo. Let me show you one thing. Without a single optimization, if I take this URL, I go to Google page speed and SEO, that will check speed and SEO and everything. You will see the ratings we have. So it takes a few seconds to analyze, but you're going to see that the statistics are pretty amazing. On performance, on SEO, it's unmatched. And in order to get that, so you see, performance 98, SEO 92, best practice 100%. So it's very difficult to beat. For the ones who have made websites manually, you know that it's usually weeks of optimization in order to get to that level of cleanliness in your website. And that is for a website not even optimized. I just start and change. There is nothing specific on this website. Just run it. It's because Odoo does everything you expect for a good SEO out of the box. Obviously, we have improved. If I save, I didn't start it even optimized. So it's telling me, oh, the SEO is not set. So if I do the job and fill it, my SEO will jump from 92 to close to 100. So we have all the tools, the warning to optimize everything in line. I believe for the blog, you are complaining about the structure of the URL. It's a best practice that even Google use for Blogspot, their own blogging platform, to have name spacing of the thing. It's a best practice in the web, and I don't think we should change that. So all the blogs start with /blog to not conflict with regular pages. Or blog. Yep. You see blog, then the name of the blog and the post, the blog post. I think it's good. We shouldn't change that. It's a very good practice. And I know some people would expect different ones, but it's a good practice. Obviously, you can change the URL easily. But the name spacing like /blog is standard, recommended to keep as it is. Obviously, you can change the URL here if you don't like. You can do my specific URL and create your own specific URL instead. And if you really want a different name spacing, there is a tool too in Odoo where you can create automatic redirect rules. And so you can say, okay, instead of that, I want a different URL. I don't recommend it, but we can. But it's not necessary as a SEO purpose, obviously. What's Odoo's strategy for conquering the French market, especially against ERP that are better equipped in the finance accounting sector of SMEs and mid-sized companies? No, they are not. If there is one thing where Odoo always win is accounting. And if you feel like Odoo is not on par with traditional players on accounting, I think you should ask an expert for a demonstration, or you need to recruit in your team as an accounting expert. So usually when it's the case, it's because the software, the partner or software integrator is not himself very good in accounting, so that doesn't help selling to CFOs. But the Odoo capabilities of the accounting and finance engine are super good, even for large companies with IFRS, consolidation, loans, assets, deferred revenue. Everything is standard, super clean in Odoo with strong AI to speed up operations, very strong analytic accounting. So nobody goes close to what we do today in terms of accounting. My only issue with our accounting app is that we can simplify it. That's what we are doing it in Odoo 19. But in terms of capabilities, we are already amongst the best. If you are not convinced, I invite you to call us if you have a demo to do, and we will show you. We have a dedicated accounting team that shows that. When will Payroll be supported in France? I don't know. We support 8 countries right now, but it's difficult to guess the timing for each of them because Payroll are quite huge to implement. Question from K9 Explorer. For SMBs, Odoo is becoming the preferred choice. Would it be great if you introduce between app automation? Example, receive the lead from Facebook, lead campaigns directly in the CRM. So we do that. We have mechanisms that where you can get leads and generate leads automatically by email, by Facebook, create from social media campaigns. So we have with the social media app of Odoo, you can monitor all your social network and generate leads out of that, generate leads from leads. So all of these are already perfectly integrated with the lead management system. One of the issues I have with these tools is the discoverability. You have to install live chat in order to generate leads from live chat. You have to install social marketing campaigns in order to generate leads from social marketing. You have to install UTM tracking and website builder in order to track creation of leads by the Facebook ads or things like that. So my issue is more that the features exist, but they are not easily discoverable. So it's all about improving that for me. Why do we add random number on the suffix of the URL? Okay, that's the question about the blog. Why do we add the 1 here in the suffix of the URL? First, it's not an issue in SEO. It's a best practice on a lot of websites. They do that. And the advantage is that if I change my blog, blog that talks about something else, because of the 1, it knows the ID, or I didn't change the URL. Let's change the URL instead. Blog about something else. Everybody that had this specific URL, my specific URL, the URL will still work. So, even though my new URL is this, if I replace by the old one, my specific URL, because of the ID, it knows that it links to this one, and it redirects automatically with a 301 HTTP redirect to the new one. So that ensures that you can optimize your SEO, rename, replace, change the URL, and everything is smooth. It has another advantage, is that if you want to get short URL and publish that in your links in emails or things like that, you can always use this very short one by stripping everything but the ID. And it still works fine. So you can click and this. So a lot of people like Shopify and so on use this technique because it allows the flexibility to rename, to shorten, while keeping a good SEO and doing the right 301 redirects automatically. As I said, you can still avoid that by creating a redirect rules and create your specific URL, but it's not working. SEO analysis have shown that this number doesn't impact negatively your SEO, so you better keep it. What is your standpoint for Studio in large project? It's a great tool with a lot of customization option, which is a game changer compared to SAP, but a lot of consultants prefer to stay away from it. There is a good balance. For small projects, we use it a lot. For large projects, we use it to prototype. But if there is a lot of development, it's clear that for developers, it's better to keep it in a module rather than in Studio. You should know that you have a good mix in between. So if I go to Studio, let's say I go to the CRM. No, not this one. Oh, I could I could add a field like the number of page views in my Kanban card, like this. So now I have the number of page views in my Kanban card, or I can customize any form. Let's add a selection field here. Option 1, option 2, option 3. Confirm. So you can customize your own forms easily. One thing you should know is that once you have done that, you can easily export your customization in a module. Click export, and all your studio customization will be exported, and you will get an Odoo module. So it's a very easy way to kick off a project. You design the mockups, you customize the screen with the client, and you export that in a module. And then for the very complex computations and so on, the developer can still continue working in a module afterwards. So it could be used for prototype in large project, to do everything in smaller projects. There is a good mix. Do you have plans to improve the document app deeper to be able to control documents at the level in the terms of quality management system? I mean procedures with draft, revision, and so on. Yes, we already have a lot. We improved it a lot recently. We have the versions, the tags. You can customize your own button so that you design your own process, draft, to be reviewed, done, by using tags and automated action based on folders. So that's something you can already do. In 18, the option mechanism was not perfect, but we recently improved it a lot. So the mechanism where you can easily go to a directory, let's say this one, and create your own automation. So either by using existing ones, create a vehicle, create a bill, change this, create a product, and so on, or create your own automation. And using that, you can design your own workflow and design some buttons that appear in different folders. So you have a draft folder where all documents lands in based on the email you received, for instance. And then you have buttons on the right when you can route the document through the workflows. So yeah, have a look. Recently, we improved the version 18 with the automations. It helps a lot designing workflows and revision and so on also. Do you have a combat cracking of Odoo license for Odoo Enterprise? We have a few issues and we handle them one by one, for sure, like every software, but it's okay. We can live with it. I think we have less than others because we have the open source version. I mean, the people who want something for free, they just go on the open source version. Question from Alexander. Do you plan an integration with Revolut Business soon? We actually contacted them, but their API, what was the issue? We wanted to do that, and we got issue because their API couldn't be used to retrieve easily bank statements. You can do it if you are for yourself, for your own bank account, but as a ERP software, I think they refuse it. Something like that. I have to check but there is a reason why we couldn't do it easily. So we have an API through the traditional bank synchronization system, but not a full API for payment, unfortunately. But if someone knows someone at Revolut, maybe it's time to ask them to open the discussion about it because we couldn't. Yente, will external security audit tests be added to Odoo? Exam penetration tests once a year. We do it. So we have a dedicated security team. We, from time to time, have penetration tests, audit tests, and so on, internally and on our internal tools and for Odoo itself. I'm not sure what you mean by added to Odoo, because at the end, we find issues, we fix them, but there is no apps to develop for that. It's just part of our internal process to improve the quality of the software and our platforms. Mbund, for those looking to join the Odoo family, what's the best piece of advice you can give to a new employee as Odoo CEO? Don't be afraid of mistakes, because the key for a new employee at Odoo is to learn fast. And the best way to learn fast is to start faster, meeting clients, selling stuff. For instance, when we recruit salespeople, you have two types of profiles. Some people wants to be really good at doing a software demonstration before meeting clients. So they will hesitate to call clients, do demos until they feel that they get comfortable with it. So you might spend a few weeks learning and learning and learning. And others, they jump right in, start calling clients, doing demo, even if they are not perfect. I think you learn more if you right away call clients, do demos, try projects. You might do mistake, but it's okay to do mistake at Odoo. Our team leaders are there to help you and not to criticize you. But you will learn faster as you get closer to the market. If you had the opportunity to start today, what would you do differently? Question from Frederic. I think one of my biggest mistakes has been the communication to the community. For a long time, Odoo has been fully open source, and we always said open source is great, open core is bad, and Odoo will always be open source, and it's bad, and we want to be free, and so on and so on. And we built a community out of that. And then we had to switch the business model because it was not reliable. We had to jump to an open core one in order to sustain fast development of the software, keep the company running, otherwise we would have gone bankrupt. And we deceived the community. And a lot of people were sad about it, and I understand, because we deceived them. We changed the speech. If I had to go back and change something, I think everything I did was good. Start fully open source, jump to open core was one of the best decisions we did. The issue I've done is to not communicate efficiently. If I would have better managed the expectation and say to the community, we are fully open source today, but maybe one day we'll have to monetize the software in order to speed up an R&D, then the community would have understand and we wouldn't have this negative marketing around us. Apart from that, I think we have been very good at a lot of things. I would keep the same direction in the product. Because we refactored a lot, we are to a level where we want it to be. So I don't see any big mistake we can change. Is the dark mode POS for dark kitchen? I don't know. Did we do it already or not? Let me check. Not yet, but we will do it. For now, the dark mode is for the POS only. It was probably a joke. They tell me on the left. I didn't get it. Question from Odi. Data migration is huge pain point in ERP transitions. Is Odoo working on a free AI or other assisted solution to streamline this? Yes. So we have done a lot of work in the import tool. The import tool is extremely powerful in Odoo and can handle a lot of situations. But still, for instance, it can handle every date format, one too many sale order with their sale order lines, the ID of the past software. So the import tool is extremely powerful. It handles issues automatically, asks you what you want to do, create report, make the sale null or things like that. But we still can improve with AI. For instance, do we have the CSV file? No. Let me create quickly a name, country, Fabien, Belgium, Henri, France, a.txt, TMP. Where is it? Where is my file? Did I miss something? CSV. Okay. So we have a lot of intelligence already in this tool to help you design the mapping and the import. But there are still some of the things that are manual. You see here, my order reference should have been, or I am orders, obviously, I should be in customers. Let's import. Let's pick my file. So here it detected the name and the country automatically, but sometimes it doesn't detect and you have to select the field yourself. So for that, for instance, we can use AI to better identify each column and merge and group them and things like that. So we will have some AI in the import tool to just improve what it is. But yeah, I think it's going to be at the margin. 90% of the import tool is already extremely powerful. I can test, import, seems valid. If the country was wrong, it would have told me what do I want to do. Let's do it. For instance, let's change this. Let's insert a wrong country. Here it is. Let's reload it. Is it A or B? A. Load data. A. Why? Oh yeah. My no. What is this? It's not my file. A.csv. Cancel. Import. Upload data file. A.csv. Odoo-related. It's a different file. B. What is this? Okay, I can't find my file. I don't know why. A.csv /tmp. Let's try it again. Something's wrong. Upload file. TMP. I think I was not in the right directory. Okay. If I try, yes, it's detecting automatically. It sees what's wrong in my country. It asks me proposition how to improve. So either I can prevent the import, so my customer won't have any country. Set the value as empty. Skip the record. Create new values. Let's do it set as empty, and then you can import it automatically. So the report engine is extremely powerful, but a little bit of AI will improve it, and we are doing it actually. Do you plan to expand the concept of light users to other situations than HR? No. I mean, 20 euro per user is already a very light price. So the traditional ERPs, they need a concept of light user because they sell at 200 euros and then they do light users at 20 euros. We are already at 20 euros per user per month, so we don't need more. And especially the light user concept is a concept that most software vendors use to trick their customers. They tell you, okay, all these users are light, and then you have a free heavy users. And then you, for the first year, the price is quite low. And then after year 2 or 3, when you have to renew, they will say, no, but actually you use this feature and this feature and this feature. So they are not actually light user, and you will have to pay for more. And they use this technique to upsell their customers. We don't want to do that. We want to be extremely transparent and simple, and we don't want to trick user about complex pricing, about which user should pay what. I think the value of Odoo is to have a pricing that is extremely simple, with limited exceptions. Question from Ta Kudzwa. We have an annual versioning system, 18, 19, 20. Do we plan to reconsider the naming convention and adopt a different versioning approach, like putting names? No. I think it's great, 20, 21, 22. It's easy. For me, it's all about usability. We can use marketing tactics like Odoo Lightning or Odoo Ultra Fast or name our versions based on marketing. But I do believe that keeping things simple and usability is way more important than doing some marketing tricks. The advantage of version numbers is that it's extremely simple. We are today at 18. If you are running 16, you are 2 years old. And the next one will be 19. So it's much easier than putting names. Question from a boxer called Champ regarding the implementation of AI into the platform. Do you have any concern with the security aspect, especially given the recent reach with DeepSeek, for example? So for the LLM that we integrate with, we let the user choose their models. So they can use DeepSeek, Gemini, or OpenAI. But we will also host our own model so that the data are not shared with traditional players. So you can also use the Odoo model, and then you won't send your data to someone else. In terms of security to access the information in your database, that's different because most of the AI features we do, they actually run as a user space, so they can do things that the user can already do and not other things. So we are not afraid of prompt hijacking or things like that if the AI runs in a user space. There are a few exceptions where we have to take care a lot, like AI in the live chat or things like that, they cannot access risky features of Odoo. But for the rest, the generic security configuration of Odoo will do the job. And for sharing the data, for privacy of your data, we will host on model 2 in addition to the existing ones, so that you can choose by being on the latest model or being on maybe another one which is nearly as good, but which is hosted by Odoo, so your data is not shared with anyone. Question from William. As the Odoo community grows, what would you like Odooers to do more of? I believe in Odooers you mean partners, the community. I think it's all about doing your job. We have to provide good service, to have fair sales. So for me, if we all focus at doing what we should do, good implementation, satisfy customer, send feedback when you have feedback, I'm happy. And there is multiple ways to do that. Some partners will focus on large companies, others will do the volume of small companies. There is not one way that is much better than the others. It's good to have a mix of partner, more technical one, more functional one, specialized in large and small. What we expect from them is just to do a good job, serve your client quickly, because the success of Odoo has always been the customer satisfaction. If we grow fast today, if we have that many leads, it's because word of mouth. Because our users are extremely happy, because we do a good job, we grow fast. So yeah, just continue doing what you do. Why was the outstanding account removed from payment in Odoo 18? Previously, we used to generate reports from account payment, but now we have to rely on journals for everything. If I'm not wrong, we did not remove it, but we make it optional. So the change with Odoo 18 is that now you can decide to create a journal entry for the payments or not. The reason we did that is because a lot of accounting firms, they don't want journal entries for a payment in a way that a payment that you did, but it's not accounted in your accounting. Like you didn't get the bank statement. So we had both requests. One was to simplify journal entry and not create journal entries for demands of payment, like SIPA payment, for instance. And the ones, some people want to record every payment in the accounting, even though it has not been done, like checks. You receive a check, you want to record it in the accounting, even though the check might be refused. So what we did in Odoo 18 is to support both use cases instead of only one. Question from Luc. It seems the subscription can be billed after the first day of the period. For example, bill March 15 for the period 1 to 31 March. It is true, but you can just start the period 1 month before and you're good, no? It's true that your subscription is post-paid, post-bill, I would say. But what you usually do, you create a sale order that starts the subscription, and the sale order is billed. That's what we do with Odoo Enterprise. So we charge upfront rather than after the period. So it works. If you create a sale order, the client commits on the sale order, and then the next one will be the subscription. So it works fine. The only thing is that you have to charge the first invoice from the sale order. That will be the subscription. So yeah, in my opinion, it works. Let me show you. If I go to subscription, did I install subscription? No. So I go to my apps, subscription. Let's install it. That's what we do with our Odoo Enterprise. We charge upfront. So it's probably what you expect. So I go to a sale, new sale order for this one. I take a subscription, recurring. Not in template, product. Subscription, office cleaning service for yearly. So I have €90 yearly office cleaning service. It's quite cheap. Huh? I confirm, create invoice. And now I have charged for the subscription from now to the next year, so upfront. And the next one, the subscription will run the next invoice after. So I believe it does what you expect. Question from Ola. We see a strong market growth in Africa. What are your plans for local adaptation countries where we don't use English or French? And what is the expected timeline for these adjustments? So if you are talking about countries, our plan is to support all localization in Africa, and most of them are already done. So we are adding more and more countries over time, but it's already pretty strong in Africa. If you are talking about languages, we do support a lot. If one is missing, you can send us an email, and we can think about adding it. So the Odoo, the languages we support, let me show you. Not here. Settings, translation, languages. As you can see, we already have 92 languages. So if you want to add some, you can send us an email and we will investigate and we can add a new translation. No worries. You can send your email to Cécile. Our email is cco@odoo.com. She's responsible from the translations at Odoo. And the way we work is we rely on the community, so we use Transifex. And on Transifex, you have all the localization of Odoo for every version, for the documentation, the website, and so on. And you have all languages is here, and the community can translate, so you can log in with your GitHub account. Ask us an access if you don't have and you want to contribute. Pick a language, let's say German. And from there, you can translate every module, let's say for the accounting, translate. And you can help contribute. You have all the terms of Odoo that are here and their translation here, and you can review or contribute. Usually, the community members, they can propose a change, and we have someone that reviews the change. And if you are a key contributor, you will become a contributor, and you'll be able to review the translated terms. But for that, send an email to Cécile if you want to contribute or open a new language. She will help you on that, cco@odoo.com. All right. When will appointments be implemented in Google Maps? What would be the use case? I think he's talking about Google reservation. So if it's not done, it's close to be released. Not yet. I think it's a matter of weeks, probably 18.3. Our appointment app will be integrated with Google Reserve, so that you can reserve a table for your restaurant or a session for an event directly from Google. The module is already developed and is being reviewed, so it's a matter of days, and we already had the green line from Google. As a system administrator, the more I delve into what is possible on Odoo.sh, the more I feel it's more like Odoo Online in terms of restriction. Having caring, effective means to store secrets. Can I have hope that this product will be progressed significantly further in the next Odoo experience? Yes, obviously we continue improving Odoo.sh. We have to check about specific requests. There are some things we constrain on purpose. There are a lot of people who do things that are not good on Odoo.sh, not optimized and things like that. So or we have a few constraints that are on purpose to avoid bad practice. And if you feel like it's blocking you, feel free to contact the Odoo.sh team. They often help people and provide better way to do something. For instance, I believe that a key store database is not useful. You shouldn't use that in Odoo, and rather use the PostgreSQL capabilities that are native and well supported in terms of number of cursors and transactions and so on. What is the reason behind removing support for the Odoo app from Play Store and choosing instead PWA? We didn't remove the support. We continue having our native application in the Play Store. We had an issue with the Apple Store, actually, where we cannot update our application because they don't allow applications that are not completely native, so where you have the web behind, hybrid application. So we have difficulties to upgrade our Apple Store one. That's why we play on PWA. For the PWA, it's actually extremely easy. All you have to do is click on the icon and it's installed. So it's comfortable. But we keep the support of both. Can I run ads with the help of Odoo? No, I think we have no applications to run ads, but we have applications to track the performance of the ads based on the UTM. So if you run ads, put some UTM statistics, let's say, use the right URL in your ads. Usually the ads tracker does it for you, but let's say I want to run an ads to promote this product. Sorry, editor. From there, you can get a link. Put your specific data about the ads you want to launch. Let's say it's a Meta ad or Facebook ad, which is, or Google, let's say Google AdWords ads. Google. Where am I there? No, it's not name. Source Google. No Google? Okay, let's create it. AdWords, campaign, write anything for your campaign or use an existing one. And then get a link tracker. And if you use this link in your ads, either this one or the full one, then the conversion and everything will be reported automatically in Odoo because it will add the UTM automatically. So we have the statistics that allows you to track the performance of your ads in Odoo. If you run ads anywhere, we'll be able to tell you the number of leads, sales order, revenue, everything generated, because we have the capability to track based on the UTM link. So it's when you add a UTM source equal Google in your URL. So that when someone goes from one of these links, Odoo will link it to Google so that we know the performance of the ad. Some community actors are doing the French PDP integration. How could we share the effort? I don't think we could share because it's already done in our side. But it's okay. It's fine if some community members wants to release their own PDP. But as usual, because it's mandatory, Odoo will deliver it. And it's actually something we are doing for the whole of Europe. We have implemented all countries in Europe for the electronic invoicing. Electronic. Yep. We have a big file of every country we are doing, like you can see here, if it's operational or it's not done. So for France, for instance, or in progress, France, where is France? It's in progress. The reason it's in progress is just because the government is not ready, but we are close to be ready on the prototype platforms. So once they open the platform, we will be ready. So no worries about that. By the way, hello Maurice. It's been a long time I didn't see you. Jamal, what are the biggest challenges that companies face when scaling with Odoo, and how do you recommend overcoming them? I believe you are talking about clients, not partners. The main complexity comes with people who want to customize too much. That creates complexities in the project and complexities in the maintenance afterwards for the upgrades. And so the main way to avoid that is to have a good project manager that can challenge your need and tell you, okay, this can be done in standard differently, but it's going to do 90% of what you need. Or this is not important for your business, we can deal without it. And this is important, we will do it. So it's about challenging the needs to not go into tons of customizations that are maybe not necessary just to reproduce what you did before. That's where we see difficulties, and that's usually the reason why project tends to get longer. It's when the customer is not challenged enough, and it's usually the fault of both, the customer and the integrator. Are there plans to improve Odoo's project management module to compete with tools like Jira, Asana, and so on? Yes, we have. Yesterday, we reviewed 80 tasks to improve Odoo projects and the usability overall. So it's not so much linked to project, but the Gantt view, the list view, the milestones, and so on. So a lot of things are coming in to be on par with Asana and ClickUp for the missing details. Less on Jira. And the planning is improving too. A lot of things are coming in terms of in the planning, different views, different ways of managing the dependencies, drag and drop of the tasks that push the other ones. especially for manufacturing orders or resource management as you plan, and that kind of things. Question from Matthews. How are you gathering information on what is to be changed in Odoo? For example, from 16 to 17, there was a repair fee removed and companies needed it. The way we produce is to listen to our clients. All our product owners, we have a team of 24 product owners that listen a lot to our clients. They get feedback from our consultant, business advisor, because we implement customers in direct. They get feedback from our partners. And we test a lot of software. We are testing all the software competitors to be sure we are on par on everything. And on top of that, we really listen to the clients. So I often answer to clients on LinkedIn, on platform like this. And because we spend time listening, discussing with clients, I think we are quite good at detecting what should be done or not. What upcoming change can we expect from the ongoing partnership with Google? So the partnership we have with Google is more a financial investment in Google in Odoo, but there is no technical partnership in a way that the partnership doesn't include any specific integration. Obviously, we have good relationship with them. We use their AI, Gemini. We integrate with their application, but that's what we have done over the past years, and we continue to do so. We will only do things we think are relevant for Odoo and not others. How well does Odoo integrate with Microsoft 365 solutions? So we have an Outlook plugin that you can use for the CRM or project management. That is very good. We integrate through email gateways with any solution like Microsoft 2 and calendar synchronizations too. But I think that's it. Why do all partners suggest not using Odoo Studio? Is Odoo Studio only useful for mockups? Question from Alexander. I think it depends on the profile of the partner. Some partners use it a lot, and some not. It depends on the size of the project. If you work on small and mid-sized projects, let's say less than 50 users, Odoo Studio is extremely useful, and partners should use it. Some doesn't like to. It's usually because they are very technical, managed by developers, I would say, and developers prefer to develop. But it could be very useful. And sometimes you need to develop, and then you won't use Studio and use it more prototyping. But for us, I would say the majority of the project below 50 users, we do the majority in Studio. Above that, when it's 100 more plus users, the majority is in development, and then we use Studio for mockups or small fine-tunings. Question from K9. Odoo Website Builder is excellent. It will become amazing and lead the market with new features introduced fast. Why do people seem to go for Shopify over Odoo for the e-commerce? I think habits are hard to change. And it's a good one because I played actually with the team, we played a lot with Shopify recently, and we were amazed at how advanced Odoo is compared to Shopify. I mean, there is no comparison anymore. The page builder of Shopify is very cheap. The e-commerce features of Odoo are on par on pretty much everything. For a lot of things, you need extension in Shopify where they are standard in Odoo, like loyalty and things like that. The drag and drop of Odoo is super good. The integration with other apps makes it incredibly useful, inventory management, marketing, and so on. So for now, the main issue is just habits. You see, the reason why we have so many people still working on WordPress, and it's PHP, old technology, bad e-commerce, it's just habits, because PHP developers know PHP on WordPress, they are familiar with the tool, so they prefer to stick with the tool. But I do believe that at the end, the best product always win. So the Odoo Website Builder in e-commerce is going to be a huge game changer. Especially with 19, we have plenty of improvement coming in with the e-commerce. And I think you will love it. I can show a few of them, maybe. Let me check. I have to check a link. I have to find the link. I hope it's this one. No, that's the voice over IP. We are improving our voice over IP. That's going to be native. You see, with a clean interface, where you have contact recent, keypad, change status, ringing and decline. But that's not the one I wanted to show you. Where is my Discord? Oh, it's here. Ah, shit, I have to reinstall it. That's why progressive web app are good. You avoid to reinstall all the time to upgrade. Takes some time sometimes. Okay. So I'm going to show you the e-commerce, some of the e-commerce improvements. I just need to find a link somewhere. And I think Jean should send me this. Figma. So now we'll have new designs for the product page, the shop page, and the onboarding in order to configure your e-commerce with header, footer that are designed for the e-commerce. Let me show final draft. Final version. Like new version of the shop page, new design. That this is the current one, but fine-tuned. But we'll have also with bigger cards, temp categories, picture, or large cards like this, if you sell a few number of products, or list view is. So we have new styles of categories or with categories on the top with different design. We have new styles coming in for the e-commerce. Standard, that's for the shop page, but it's the same for the product page. So that's more like the classic one today, but we'll have better ones with just pictures on the top, not better, but different ones. 3 columns, large picture, that's more like the classic one today, or very large picture, also very much like the classic one. And then we'll also have a better onboarding, new types of cards, so that you can customize with borders, gray background, or so much. New widgets for categories that you can use. Onboarding, where you can set up all, let's say if I have onboarding, it's here, I think. Yes. So when you install for the first time, he asks you what kind of design you want for the shop page and then for the product page. So a lot of improvement in the design of the e-commerce coming in standard, obviously. All right. Let's see if there is no question. Question from Corina. In Odoo.sh, the backup for a test environment doesn't bring us back to apps module with all the data inserted a few weeks ago. Why? The backup for a test environment doesn't bring us back to the apps module with all the... I'm not sure. I have to check. The backup for a test environment. I don't think we do backup for test environment. It's the production. So I'm not sure I understand the question. Question from HLC consultant. How come Odoo has no integration with Facebook ads so far? Pretty much every tool that tried to integrate with Facebook ads, Google AdWords failed. Why? Because their native application to design your ads in Facebook are so powerful that it's better to use this one. And there is absolutely no value of doing the exact same interface in Odoo, huge technical debt for low value. And so marketers prefer to use the Facebook and Google platform. No other tool succeeded in that. But what we did is after the ad, in order to track the performance of the ad in Odoo with the UTM code to track, this is perfectly integrated in Odoo. So we don't want to add a lot of complexity for something we know we cannot win. Why doesn't Odoo SaaS have one or more service accounts not paid? We resellers struggle to charge for the additional accounts needed to manage. And when you charge 20 euro per user, you don't need to offer free users. I mean, the price is already so low that I don't think we have issues with adding one user. On Odoo.sh we have a system, but not on Odoo Online. Odoo.sh we have the impersonation mechanism where you can log in as the user, as a specific user, but on Odoo Online we don't have that. I don't think it's required. Even for us, we are probably the biggest reseller of Odoo Online. If our consultant needs an account, the customer pays for it, or use the account of the customer, and it's perfectly fine. Does Odoo use Odoo Discuss internally as well? Yes, depending on the team. We use a lot voice over IP. Some teams are on Odoo Discuss, others are still using Discord. but we have plans to move everybody to Odoo Discuss one day. What motivates you to internally use Discord over Odoo Discuss? No, it's pure historical reason. Is that when we started with the COVID, we had to put everybody online. At that time, the features of Odoo Discuss were not on par with Discord, so we used Discord at that time, and we moved the whole company on Discord. Now that the features of Odoo Discuss are extremely close to Discord, we can switch back to Discuss. Okay. What are your plans for your service area, dev, business analyst? What areas of improvement? A question from Yes. The service is a continuous process of improvements. We continuously review the way we operate and fine-tune and improve our methodologies. I would say it's more fine-tuning than big redesign. So, for instance, we need a better way to track our cost on larger projects to better justify budget and things like that. I know we are not as efficient as I would like to in that area. We need a way to better train the younger consultant to challenge customer needs. But in a lot of areas, we massively improved over the past year. So it's not like we have big issues right now. The success rate for, at least for our success pack, is super high. It's there. Not there, sorry. Success pack, read more. We have 98% implementation success rate on our success pack. So it's for the industry we are in, ERP industries fully integrated, which are complex projects, it's amazing success rate. Obviously, we should still continue to improve, and if we can reach 98.5, that would be great. But it's already very successful. Can Odoo introduce a way to publish module developed by using Odoo Studio? You can already do it, actually. Just develop your module in Odoo Studio, customize, then export it. Where is my database? Then you can export your customization in Studio using the export tool here, and that gives you a module. And this module you can publish and upload it on the App Store, odoo.com/apps. You submit it through here. You have to push it on GitHub and then submit it. And then your module will be available on the App Store. We don't want to make it one click because we don't want people to spam and send a lot of mess in the App Store with the quick module they designed in a few minutes. Is it possible to add spreadsheet into maintenance module? Yes, I think it's a good idea. I don't know if it's part of our roadmap yet, but we will think about it. Question from Alec. Question from Xavier. In appraisal, is there a possibility to print employee reviews to bring them during the interview? Yes. Basically, in Odoo, you can print everything. Yeah? Because the CSS of the browser print is perfect. So let's go to any document. Let's say you want your Kanban. Just Control-P, and you have a clean print. You see, he removed the menu, he removed everything, and just kept the context, like the filter and the cards, and he removed the clickable element, the button. So the print is really good. And you can do that with any document, Control-P here, and you see the print is really good. You have the whole document and the conversation. And the header is simplified. You just have the context, number of page. So obviously that works also for appraisal. Appraisal, I think I didn't install it. But you can print the appraisal the same way. Why appraisal? Why I don't have appraisal? It's not appraisal, it's called... my memory. HR. Appraisals. I don't know why I couldn't find it. So I'm installing the appraisal application. Boom. Now I can go to appraisal. Let's get one. This one, I can publish it from manager, okay. If you want to printing, same way. and you have a clean print. Just Control P. There is no button navigation menu. It just kept the minimum you need. Okay, maybe some of the last questions. It's been already close to 2 hours. You just show us the voice over IP mockup. Any plans to complete the features to be at the level of Aircall? Transcript generation, register of the call, possibility of review. Yes, we are actually doing all of this. Recording the call, transcript, forward, better forward, call forward by transferring the call or by talking to the person before. Full integration with CRM, contacts, and everything. So we have done a massive improvement on the voice over IP application right now, and it's expected to be released for Odoo 19 or before, so September this year. At the moment, question from Frederick, the average amount of client accounts per partner is still pretty low, while the partner network is growing fast, which keeps the average low. Are you expecting the rise of large enterprise scale partners? What's your strategy to help partners significantly scale their operations? I think you have 2 ways to scale. If you target the small clients, you scale in volumes. And we have partners that have a lot of clients. But if you want to scale and reach larger clients, you scale in size. You don't get way more new clients per year. You can have 4 or 5 new clients per year, but very, very big ones. And we have 2 types of partners today, and the ones that are growing a lot on the larger accounts, when you look at the numbers, it doesn't show up like big numbers of new clients, but what they actually do in terms of number of users they put in production is quite huge. So I don't know if the number of clients per partner is a good metric, because it's a mix of the ones who do very small, plenty of clients, and the ones who do very large, very low number of clients, but the impact for the Odoo ecosystem and the number of users they put in production is quite high. Multi-vendor shop is planned. I'm not sure what it means, but multi-website and multi-e-commerce is already part of Odoo. It's standard. Question from Vincent. And maybe one last question from, I don't know, from Jean-Luc. Can you explain how to prepare a structure on Odoo database and use it to train an LLM to power an AI company chatbot? The key, when we designed the Odoo Help here to work with AI, the key actually is not so much the AI, because AI is the easy stuff. The complexity is to feed the RAG with good documents. And for that, it's not so much about training the AI, but having a lot of documentation about, for us, it was our software. So when you ask a question, how to change the sequence of an invoice and reference, I don't know. The AI is quite good at answering, but the reason it's good is because we have plenty of documentation behind. So it's more about writing this content rather than improving and fine-tuning the AI. The AI are actually good at formatting the information they have. The complexity is to give them the information. And for that, Odoo has been extremely good because we are open source, there are plenty of content online. And because we invested a lot in our documentation, look at the size of every chapter, we have thousands of pages of documentation that we could feed to the AI. So in the new version of Odoo, you will be able to give him content as from Odoo Knowledge. So you can use Odoo Knowledge and create content as article in there. And then you can feed this knowledge full directory folder to the AI. But we will also integrate with the document app of Odoo. And we will also integrate with URL if you have public URLs. So basically, or upload your own PDF, also. So you will have plenty of different ways to feed the AI with your custom documents as of Odoo 19. All right, I see that we have still some questions, but it's been 2 hours. So thank you, everybody. We'll do that again, I guess, in the future, at least at Odoo Experience. I usually do Ask Me Anything sessions during Odoo Experience. This year, it's going to be huge. It's if you want to attend, it's experience.odoo.com, or we have the community days also in India, Mexico, Buffalo, which are quite huge too. And there we usually have Ask Me Anything sessions where you can meet me and contact me back. All right, thank you everybody. Bye.